There's a moment many men reach quietly. It doesn't come with a birthday. It doesn't arrive with a dramatic life event. It just shows up somewhere in the background of their thoughts. A small, uncomfortable question. Am I still attractive? Or did I age out of the game? Not just physically attractive, not just in decent shape for my age, but genuinely desirable. The kind of man women notice, the kind they choose, the kind they feel drawn to. Not out of convenience, not out of nostalgia, and not just because he's safe, but because there's real interest there, real curiosity, real pull. For many men, especially after 40 or 50, the answer starts to feel uncertain. Because the things that made you attractive in your 20s don't seem to work the same way anymore. The same energy, the same style, the same effort. It doesn't land like it used to. You may notice that the attention you once took for granted isn't automatic anymore. Dating feels different. Social dynamics feel different. Even the way people look at you seems to have changed. So you start to wonder if attraction has an expiration date. But here's the truth most men never hear. Attraction doesn't disappear with age. It just changes its center of gravity. And there is one quality, more than any other, that makes older men deeply attractive to women. It's not money. It's not status. It's not even looks. It's emotional steadiness. Or put more simply, presence without pressure. This is the quality that quietly separates men who feel invisible from men who feel magnetic later in life. Because when you're younger, attraction is often built on intensity, fast chemistry, big gestures, constant texting, emotional highs and lows that feel exciting in the moment. Intensity feels like passion. Uncertainty feels like mystery. Volatility gets mistaken for depth. But over time, most women learn something important. Intensity is easy to create, stability is rare, and stability is what allows attraction to grow instead of burnout. So when a woman meets a man who feels emotionally steady, something shifts inside her almost immediately. Her shoulders drop a little, her voice softens, her guard lowers. She stops performing, not because he's safe in a dull, predictable way, but because he feels grounded. And grounding is deeply attractive once you've lived enough life to know what chaos costs. Emotional steadiness shows up in small, quiet ways. It shows up in how you enter a room. You're not scanning for approval. You're not trying to be the most impressive person there. You're not competing for attention. You're just present. There's a calmness to you, a settled quality. You're not in a rush to prove anything. And people feel that. It shows up in conversation too. You're not rushing to fill every silence. You're not interrupting to make a point. You're not turning every topic back to yourself. You listen, you respond, you let the moment breathe, and that space feels good to be around. From a psychological perspective, humans are constantly reading each other's nervous systems. We may not think about it consciously, but we're always asking a silent question. Do I feel safe around this person? Not just physically safe, emotionally safe. Do I feel judged? Do I feel pressured? Do I feel like I have to impress them? Or do I feel like I can just be myself? An emotionally steady man creates a different answer to those questions. Around him, there's less tension, less performance, less emotional noise, and that feeling becomes associated with him. So attraction builds not just because of what he looks like, but because of how he feels to be around. That's why many older men are more attractive than they realize. They've lived enough life to stop chasing constant validation. They're less reactive, less competitive, less desperate to prove something, and that creates a kind of calm authority that younger men often don't have yet. An emotionally steady man doesn't oversell himself. He doesn't name-drop constantly. He doesn't exaggerate his success. He doesn't dominate every conversation. He speaks when he has something to say, and he's comfortable with silence. That restraint reads as confidence. Not the loud chest-puffing confidence of youth, but the quieter confidence of self-trust. He knows who he is, he knows what he's about, and he doesn't need constant reassurance. Women pick up on this almost instantly, because most of them have spent years dealing with emotional unpredictability. Men who are hot and cold, men who text constantly one week and disappear the next, men who need constant reassurance, men who become defensive or withdrawn the moment something doesn't go their way. So when they encounter a man who is consistent, calm, and emotionally regulated, it stands out. Not in a dramatic, fireworks kind of way, in a relief kind of way. And relief is often the beginning of real attraction. Emotional steadiness also shows up in how a man handles disappointment. Plans change, someone cancels, interest fluctuates, life doesn't go according to script. An emotionally unsteady man spirals. He overanalyzes every message. He assumes the worst. He becomes passive-aggressive, or he shuts down completely. But a steady man stays steady. He doesn't make everything personal. He doesn't turn a small change into a big emotional reaction. He adjusts. He keeps his rhythm. He moves forward. That kind of response signals emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is deeply attractive, especially to women who have outgrown drama. Another place this quality shows up is in validation. A steady man doesn't chase attention. If a woman shows interest, he enjoys it, but he doesn't cling to it. He doesn't suddenly revolve his life around her reactions. And if she pulls back, he doesn't collapse. He doesn't see it as proof that he's unattractive or unworthy. He simply sees it as part of the process of human connection. That emotional independence is rare, and rarity creates value. People are drawn to men who don't make them responsible for their self-esteem. Because the moment someone feels like they have to manage your emotions, attraction starts to fade. Emotional steadiness also changes how women behave around you. They relax, they're less guarded, less polished, less performative. They don't feel like they're being evaluated. They don't feel like they have to constantly impress you or keep your interest. Many men misinterpret this. They think, if she's this relaxed, she must only see me as a friend. But often, what you're seeing isn't disinterest, it's trust. And trust is the foundation of lasting attraction. Excitement may spark desire early on, but trust is what allows desire to deepen and stick around. Without trust, attraction burns hot and fades fast. With trust, it grows slowly, but much more powerfully. This is especially true in age gap dynamics. Despite common stereotypes, younger women who are drawn to older men are rarely responding to money or status alone. What they often respond to is emotional steadiness. They're tired of unpredictability, tired of mixed signals, tired of emotional volatility disguised as passion. An older man who is grounded, consistent, and self-possessed stands out immediately. Not because he's trying to, but because he doesn't need to. He's not trying to reclaim youth. He's not trying to compete with younger men. He's not trying to impress everyone in the room. He's just being himself. And that authenticity is magnetic. Another important aspect of emotional steadiness is selectiveness. A steady man doesn't try to appeal to everyone. He knows what he wants, he knows what he doesn't want, and he's no longer available for situations that drain him. He doesn't overextend himself just to be liked. He doesn't chase every opportunity for attention. That selectiveness isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. And people can feel the difference between being chosen and being tolerated. Being chosen feels grounding. Being chased often feels pressured. Emotional steadiness also creates a sense of fullness. A steady man has a life. Not a frantic one, a full one. He has routines, interests, responsibilities, people he cares about, things that matter to him outside of dating. His life doesn't pause while he waits for someone else to give it meaning, and this matters enormously. Because when a woman enters his life, she feels like she's being invited into something already stable. She's not being asked to fill a void. She's not being asked to rescue him from loneliness. She's not being made responsible for his happiness. And fullness attracts. Neediness repels. Finally, emotional steadiness shows up in how comfortable a man is with his own company. He can spend time alone without feeling like he's failing. He doesn't rush into relationships just to escape solitude. He doesn't panic when there's no one around. He doesn't treat being single as a problem that needs to be fixed immediately. He enjoys his own space. And that comfort changes how he shows up in relationships. He's choosing connection, not grasping for it. Psychologically, people are drawn to those who could walk away, but don't need to, because that signals real independence. And real independence is incredibly attractive. So if you're an older man wondering whether you're still attractive, it might be time to change the way you measure it. Attraction at this stage of life isn't about being the most exciting man in the room. It's about being the most grounded. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the most performative, but the most steady. Because in a world full of emotional noise, steadiness feels rare. And what's rare becomes attractive. So if you're calm under pressure, if you don't chase validation, if people relax around you, if you have a life that feels full without constant attention, chances are you already have the one quality that makes older men irresistible. You're emotionally steady. And that's not something you fake. It's something you grow into.